OpenArt VFX edits real footage, capped at 8 seconds a clip. Its worth hinges on one motion limit.
Almost 10 seconds on the dot.
Almost 10 seconds on the dot.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the first tells of an AI video is that it's not really longer than 10 seconds. So to make it a long video requires a ton of memory, and most systems actually don't have that memory capability.
Well, also, like, even if they do, once you kind of hit that 10-second limit right now, the video basically starts disintegrating into like chaos.
Yep. It's like, so the moment you start looking at the logicality of the scene, it breaks down. The big blue thing attached to the other tree on the far right,
That building, one door and 3 windows.
Vendor demos settle nothing. You can't take these companies at their word, only their footage under test. Length caps are one wall, control is another. If you can't direct a shot precisely, every regeneration gambles the whole frame.
Not quite right, so I do a bunch more variations, because whenever I want to fix a small issue, like where the character lands, it creates an entirely different looking video with other problems. It's almost impossible to control when you have a real vision instead of just a rough concept and willingness to accept whatever it spits out.
Under the hood there is a model called SwitchX. And the way it works, just like if you're familiar with masking and video editing, it separates you as the subject from the background. And that's what lets it go and alter that background in any number of ways. And then it processes that clip as a continuous sequence as opposed to frame by frame, which is a common approach taken for that kind of model. So that is what helps.
Processing a clip as one sequence is the pitch. Whether that consistency holds on real footage is where an independent reviewer's read matters more.
Generate. The toy shark is gone. In its place, there is a real shark. Same position, same hands, same beach. Of course, it still feels like a toy because the shark is not moving, but the fact that the rest of the video stays untouched is actually pretty impressive. OpenArt identified one specific object in a moving video and replaced it without changing the rest of the scene. For removing unwanted objects,
Impressive isn't the same as usable. A replaced object that won't move betrays the illusion, so weigh which feature actually earns its place.
And explore the platform more as a whole. And that in mind, that is OpenArt. So my overall take on these are that the background switch and relight are practically useful in the situations where they are. If you have a need for something like that, this is going to be an immediate fix, an immediate time saver, and will genuinely help you out. On the VFX side, I think that's even higher yield that can replace a lot more of the time.
the raw footage. OpenArt VFX supports MP4 and MOV files up to 240 frames or about 8 seconds at 30 frames per second. After uploading, it asks to confirm the trim. This is the original clip, a simple talking head shot in a plain room.
8 seconds of input sounds minor until you hit the motion limit still ahead. First, the one thing every clean result depends on.
In the back end, what's going to happen, it's going to take the first frame of your video. So when you're developing your reference image, make sure the composition of that image is as close to the original as possible. For example, if you remember, the first video we created was of this woman in that parking lot that we turned into a ancient cryptic underground. And I wanted to change her outfit to this, but the composition of the subject is just above the knees, it's behind the back. And the only thing I'd call out is if you look at the audience at the back, there's still a few of them are kind of clapping in slow motion, but that's one of the limitations I see with the SwitchX model. Sometimes it does a good job on like background actions, and it does help to prompt for those actions. But sometimes, regardless of what you prompt, the things in the backgrounds tend to stay static.
Notice the vendor admits it too. Static backgrounds aren't a fluke. And it isn't only OpenArt. Footage from a rival AI VFX tool hits the very same wall the moment real motion enters the frame.
Restyled the video using the style from the image. And again, the result came out really close to the reference. It just nailed the vibe. Now, to be fair, the tool still struggles with high motion or small details. Sometimes you'll get a wonky result like this. But honestly, it's still in a very early stage, and you can only expect it to get better from here. One more thing to keep in mind. By default, all you do is upload your video, type in what you want, and boom. The crazy level of VFX is done by AI. In the next few minutes, I'll share some of the best examples and use cases of this tool. So let's dive in. All right, once you're on Runway's homepage,
high motion and fine detail are the recurring failure point across these tools. If your shots move fast, OpenArt will fight you, not help.
The creator who has the idea, but not the studio. You've got a phone, maybe a costume from Amazon, a corner of your backyard, a stretch of road. What you don't have is a $100,000 VFX budget, and that's the gap this tool was built to close.
I don't know, it just feels a bit meh.
And I think that sums it up well. I think few people have watched an AI video and felt like it was a piece of art that really touched or inspired them.
What's happening? Where is everyone?
There's something about it that feels soulless, and while that might work just fine for social media, commercials, or even certain films, it's not going to replace true art and the joy you get from creating something entirely.
Soulless for true art, sure, but that's not who this serves. For the solo creator it targets, the deciding factor becomes price.
Adds a layer of control that was not there before. If you want to try OpenArt yourself, the most cost-effective option is the Wonder Plan. On the annual tier, generating one video costs only 40 cents. I left the referral link in the description.
Buy OpenArt VFX if you're a solo creator retouching clean, low-motion footage. Background swaps and relights save real time. Avoid it for fast action, where swapped objects and backgrounds stay static. Every clip links to the full video in the description. Go watch the originals. This is educational content, not professional advice.